Hey, hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. All right. So, team, for today's Scrum Master demo session, I'll be taking through a live practical overview on how a Scrum Master will be facilitating the agile delivery uh, in the real world, the real scenarios, and then we will experience the Scrum in action, not just theory as well, and also. The main goal is to how the scrum helps the team delivering the value quickly, collaborating effectively with continuous improvement. So this is what and the agenda for this 1 hour of demo. Sorry. So we'll just start with the basics of agile and the scrum, and we'll just discuss on the mini sprint with the key scrum events. And I'll also be highlighting the roles and responsibilities of Scrum Master, how we are going to facilitating the teams, removing the improvements and promoting the team improvement. And finally, we can have a quick takeaways with any questions from you guys. So before that, how many of you have worked in Agile or currently working with Agile team here? Just raise your hands, please. Guys, let's keep this as an interactive session. Team. Okay, can you see my screen here? So this is what the agenda says: the Scrum overview, Scrum Master roles and responsibilities, whatever the events and the artifacts we have for the Scrum Master to be covered in the Agile mindset, and what are the tools we use. And later on, we can have an open questions and whatever the certifications and what is the career path. If you have any open questions, we can discuss at the end of this call, team. So so I was just asking on how many of you guys have uh, experience in the agile mindset, agile team, or anyone working the at the corporate company with agile part. Just let me know, team. Uh, Team, am I audible? Can you please unmute yourself and acknowledge here? It is just confirm. Are you able to see the screen? Okay, so are you able to see this the agenda in the PPT format, team? I think, team, can you just confirm or verbally? Okay, fine then. I'll just continue with the session. So basically, what do you mean by agile? The word agile. A team. Let's keep this as interactive session. I don't want to be an giving a session on this. I just want to understand what is your understanding by the term agile and the Scrum. Okay, so agile, it's a mindset. Okay, so basically, agile, it's a mindset where we need to work on the values, the delivering of the value quickly and with adapting to the change. Okay, and it encourages the collaboration, the customer feedback. Customer is nothing but the business or the product team with continuous improvement. So it replaces the rigid project plans within short and flexible cycles. See, cycle is nothing but we call it as a sprint in Agile, where it's a time box event. Normally, a sprint will be a 2 to 4 weeks of duration where we need to complete the work. Okay. So in short, we can say that an agile is a mindset where we respond to the changes with following a fixed plan. And now what is Scrum? Scrum is something where um it acts as a framework used to implement the agile methodology. And this also helps in organizing the work in shorter cycles called sprints. That is what a time box event. So, how do we implement this Scrum? How do we maintain this agile methodology with the help of this Scrum part? I'll describe you. I'll explain you in detail here. So, in Scrum, we have three major roles: product owner, who represents the customer; developer, the team members, developers, and the QAs, the testing team, so which is known as the core team members. So these are the team members and the Scrum Master. So what are the major contribution of this product owner? Product owner will be coming up with an backlog items to the team, that this is what the functionality of the particular in a site or an application, and he would be prioritizing that items in a Jira board, which is nothing but a backlog. So at first he will be prioritizing what application needs to be built, and later on the second priority will be targeted, and according to that we will be discussing the same functionality. I mean, see, for example, if you take the Gmail account, normally Gmail is an application where we can send and receive emails, where we can store the files, where we can share the applications and everything. So now the customer, the product team, the business will come up saying to the developers, saying that, hey team, I want to build up a Gmail account. So this is where the application looks like. So customer needs to enter the user ID and the password, and and later on he will be seeing a set of emails over there. So this is what he will be prioritizing that. So the first instance is he needs to provide the user ID and the password box, the UI application. So for this the developers agrees that, okay, fine. So for this to build this, the user ID and the password, the UI application, and then the set of Gmail, I mean, whatever the emails needs to be triggered in that email box, that part will be covered as an part of a backlog items. So developers will be prioritizing what item needs to be fixed And according to them, they will be providing their estimation. Estimation is nothing but the work efforts by the developers. So normally we use Fibonacci series like 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, and 11 and 18. So these are the story points. In detail, I can explain you in further sessions what exactly is the story points is. Story points is nothing but the work estimation by the developers as well as the QA has QA. QA is nothing but the testing team. They have to provide this estimation to the Scrum Master as well as the product team. Now, what is the role of Scrum Master here? So Scrum Master, he would be facilitating the Scrum events, removing the blockers, and coaching the team. Coaching the team where the Scrum framework is followed by continuously improving. So, in general, Scrum Master, whatever the impediments we are calling out, right? Uh, Normally, developers and the testing team, they will be reaching out to the Scrum Master. That Scrum Master, I have one issue with this. So how do we get this resolved? Not in terms of development activity. The development activity has to be done by the developers. Just a minute, team. Hey, sorry, team. Just a second. Let me. I think there is some issue with the laptop. I'm just sharing my screen once again. Let me know if you are able to see this PPT. Uh, 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 okay. Can you see here, team? Team, I'm unable to do the multitasking here. So just help me in, unmute yourself and let me know if you're able to see my screen. Team, can you just confirm me? Can you see my screen? All right, fine. So now, what is the Scrum Master here? So Scrum Master, he acts as a servant leader, a facilitator, a coach, ensure the team is followed the Scrum principles, removing the impediments and supporting the continuous improvement. So basically, removing the impediments is nothing but if a developer is facing an issue in deploying the code, see whatever the code is designed or developed by the developer, he has to get this merged into the testing environment. And Parallelly, the tester has to validate the functionality. In between, if there is a breakdown or if there is any, you know, the functionality is not matching as per the requirement, whatever the product team has, the business has confirmed. So we will, the QA, the testing team will be raising a defect. Okay. Now, how to get this? How will Scrum Master help here? Scrum Master, we will be following real-time scenarios where I will be explaining in further sessions how to get these things done. We have a daily stand-up meetings every day where the developers and the testing team will coordinate internally to make sure everything is in place in order to minimize the defects part. So this is how we need to make sure, and this is not only for the removing the sorry removing the defects, but there are certain things like cross functionality, involving the team. If there is some critical issue going on, how to make sure the team joins the breakout session, the war rooms, everything. This has to be taken by care by the Scrum Master. Continuous improvement is nothing but business comes up in middle of the sprint and says that we have a little enhancement in the once the sprint is active, that cannot be adoptable, but we can at least take a confirmation from the developer saying that can this a little enhancement can be done in this sprint, in this time box event, nothing but the sprint. And based on the developer's confirmation, based on the testing team confirmation, we need to provide a feedback to the business, or we can take that particular enhancement into the next level in the next sprint. Okay. Now, these are the main Scrum events, Scrum artifacts, I can say, for a Scrum Master to take care and make sure all the developer, the tester, and the business, the product team, business is nothing but the product team who owns the product backlog, have to join these calls without any fail. So sprint core container is nothing but a sprint, a backlog refinement call, product backlog refinement, or a sprint refinement where we refine the stories, whatever the business has confirmed the backlog items. Guys, can you see my screen? Uh, can you see the PPT? Just a second, I don't know. Okay, just confirm me if you can see the PPT. Okay, fine. Okay, now the sprint core content is nothing but the backlog refinement, product backlog refinement, or the sprint backlog refinement, where product team or the business team will be coming with a list of functionality design that will be placed in the Jira board, and based on the priority items, we will be refining or we will be discussing that particular backlog items in the refinement calls, which is nothing but the sprint refinement calls. Okay. What is sprint planning? Sprint planning is nothing but a planning call before taking that particular backlog items in a time box event. We need to discuss with the developers, with the product team, with the testing team, make sure how, what would be the effects, what would be the efforts for the developer and the testing team to take the story, considering the velocity. Velocity is nothing but the number of story points, whatever we discussed, right? The number of story points by a developer or the QA, the testing team, will be taken based on their bandwidth. We will be taking that particular story points, that particular stories, and we will be aligning that particular stories in that particular sprint. Okay, so normally a sprint will be a 2 to 4 weeks of time box event. Based on that, we will be taking the particular stories, and this is the major thing where we align the stories in the planning call. There are a couple of mandatory things we need to check before taking that particular stories in that sprint with the help of developers, the testing team, and the product team as well. So what are those? We'll discuss in the further sessions. Daily Scrum is nothing but it's a 15 minutes time box event on a daily basis. We would be having the developers, the testing team, and the product team who would be interacting on the daily work status of that particular sprint. If anything comes up, they have to interact or they can take it offline before the daily scrum call. It's nothing like, okay, daily scrum call is there. We will wait until the scrum call, I mean, the daily scrum call is there. So we'll wait until we can discuss over there. No, we can take it offline before the daily scrum call, and we can put this, we can, I mean, the testing team and the developers can interact each other offline as well to get this. If any improvements comes up, they can track this improvement, they can resolve these improvements on their own without help of Scrum Master. What is sprint review? Sprint review is whatever the stories we have taken in the sprint planning. Okay. Now we want to know how the functionality, where is the functionality is going on, and how is the functionality uh, is it working fine? We just want to review the functionality. Whatever the developers have designed that, whatever the testers has tested the functionality, we just wanted to review with the help of product team to understand as per, I mean, is that functionality going correct? Is there any feedback to be provided by the business or the product team that we can discuss in this review call? And what is retrospective? Retrospective is nothing but an improvement action item call where we take feedback from the developers, from the testers, from the product team that what went well, what did not went well, and what do you think, what would be the improvement action items in the upcoming sprint to make sure 100% of smooth transitioning is happening throughout the sprint. So these are some of the key points we discuss in the retrospective call. So basically, these for all the 5 major events will be facilitated by the Scrum Master itself, and it's equal and everyone's responsibility for the developers, for the testers, for the product team to join this call without any reminders on a daily basis. It's a mandatory thing to join these events. And Scrum Master is a facilitator. If anyone is not joining, he will be helping them to join. I mean, if someone is on leave, if someone is on leave or someone wants to back up him, so Scrum Master can help on that as well. And so this is what product backlog. Whatever I said, right? The list of items will be provided. The product team or the business will be owned by the product owner. Sprint backlog is nothing but particular for that particular sprint. What are the top priority items we can plan for that particular sprint? Increment, so done and valuable. See, I told you, right? For the Gmail account, we are just using the login, user ID, and the password button. After that, the UI, once the UI is created, we will be logging into the next screen. So what happens? That can be completed that can be done in the next sprint. So like that, we will be prioritizing a list of backlog items based on the business items. So these are some of the commitments: product goals, sprint goal, definitions. See, definition of done is nothing but once the review is completed, business team will be providing a sign off saying that yes, this particular functionality is working, and we are okay to provide a definition. I mean, we are okay to provide a sign off based on the definition of done uh, artifact. So there are some checklist points. What needs to be done, what needs to be discussed in the definition of done, we will be providing, and it differs from company to company. Okay, so this comes under a sprint review. Now, one of the main tool where we use to artifact all these, the backlog items, the sprint, is nothing but Zira. So Zira is a tool where we manage the backlog stories, the sprints, the boards, the Scrum board, and also help updating in the progress and the improvements in terms of various charts like burn velocity, burn up, burn down. Everything can be tracked in Jira. Okay. So normally a Scrum Master has to create the sprint, which is a time boxed event, moving the stories, creating the boards, monitoring the burn down chart, tracking the blockers. It's all responsibilities for of the Scrum Master in the Jira tool. Okay. And so impediment is something, see, impediment, as I mentioned, one of the main impediment is if the developer or the tester comes up saying there is some blocker in getting this story completed. So what exactly is that issue? You need to analyze on that, where it is getting stuck. Anything which is getting blocked, which is impacting the story or which is slowing the delivery is nothing but an impediment. And Scrum Master is the first point of contact who has to analyze on this with the help of developer, the product team, and the testing team. Okay. You have to record all these things in an impediment tracker or at least through email. You need to highlight this as a Scrum Master. You need to copy all the managers or the business as well to, escalate this, because this would impact the story delivery, and we need to get this issue as soon as fixed. So something like that you need to analyze, and based on analyzation with the developers and the testing team, you need to draft an email or you need to record somewhere in the G sheet or somewhere. Velocity, whatever the story points are discussed, right? The Fibonacci series, we normally the developers and the testers work on use this Fibonacci series to provide the estimation. So story points, whatever the story points are completed for that particular sprint is nothing but the velocity. It's used only for forecasting and not a performance metric. So something like, as an the efforts, whatever the amount of efforts based on, see, normally in general, we in agile world we have absolute and relative estimation, where for absolute estimation we follow one story is 1 day, and in relative estimation points we follow based on the complexity of the work we provide the estimation. So for example, if we know that for any t-shirt, if, I'm just comparing I'm just giving an example. When we go for a t-shirt, right, so there will be small, medium, large, XL, double XL. So in agile, what we think is S small is a very minimal effort is required, where we give one story point. And if there is some higher complexity is involved, so based on the small size t-shirt, we analyze on that and we provide at least some 9 or 18 pointer story, which is very huge complexity. And we need to justify from the developers that why so much of complexity is involved here. He has to take, he has to discuss it with the technical lead, his manager, that this much amount of, estimation is provided by the developer. So he has to provide a valid justification. We cannot blindly take that estimation as okay, developer has given this story pointer, so we will be recording this in the Jira. No, we have to take a valid justification why this is why this much amount of story point is required for this story. So we should be in a position to cross question all these things in the planning call with the to the developers and the QA team. Conflict handling. See, Scrum Master, as I mentioned, we have five ceremonies, right? The planning call, the refinement call, the retro, daily Scrum. Sometimes what happens is team gets stuck somewhere in understanding the functionality. Um, when I say team, it should be the product. I mean, it would be the developers and the testers. So their first point of contact is a Scrum Master, where they'll be asking that, hey team, hey Scrum Master, I'm just facing some issue. I just need some more open discussion. Can you set up a call with some other third party components, maybe as per the requirement? Then we as a Scrum Masters, we will be facilitating a discussion and ad hoc call discussion, something like, and ask the developers, ask the testing team to join the call, to open up proactively, call out the dependencies if they have, or call out any blockers if they're having. So this needs to be discussed in this um, open and ad hoc call discussion, something like that. So Scrum Master would be a facilitator for this. This is a mini Scrum. See, normally a Scrum team consists of five developers. I mean, it's not like exactly what we follow book rules saying that Scrum team should be having five developers or two testing team. No, in real, it may changes up to seven, it may changes up to nine, it may changes up to 20 developers and four testing team, two product team. So it all depends upon the company to company or how the complexity of the code of the complexity of the functionality changes on. So this is all about the Scrum Master. And okay, before taking further, I just want to listen and questions from you guys. If you have any open questions, just share me, or if you want me to repeat any of the slide, just let me know. No, Scrum Master doesn't do any coding here. Scrum Master is normally a management is from the management side, so he doesn't involve in coding. But it's better if we have any coding knowledge also in order to support the developers part, but it's not mandatory. But at least, I mean, Scrum Master, see, when working with the developers and the testing team, you will come across this GitLab, the Jenkins tool, and everything. So you will be able to understand how many lines of code they have updated, or how the testing, yeah, how to the testing tool is doing the validation. Have they uploaded the test cases in the testing tools and everything? We can monitor it, but we are not in a position to upload or do it manually from a Scrum Master perspective. The Scrum Master never uses testing tools. He will be monitoring the testing tools, whether the test cases are updated, whether the defects, whatever the testing team has raised, everything can be tracked through these testing tools. So that is the responsibility of the Scrum Master to work with the testing team, whether everything is recorded in this testing tools or not. Again. Okay. Any other questions, team? Selenium. Selenium, again, it's an testing tool. See, Scrum Master is not particular whether the testing team is using a Selenium or any other tool. It's again, a tester has to confirm, a testing team has to confirm which tool they are using based on the, I mean, see, this is nothing nowhere related to the Scrum process, the whatever the tools we are using. Any other questions, team? Uh, okay. Team, can someone confirm how many of you guys are working? So no one has real-time experience? Okay. So you are working as a Scrum Master or you are working as a testing team, tester? Okay. All right. Anyone has any other questions, team, before moving further? See, Scrum Master has a great future, I can say. Uh, Whatever in this real scenario that in the real world, whatever you're facing this, we are seeing the everywhere we are seeing this agile methodology, the Scrum framework. So we need a Scrum Master who facilitates the events between the developers, the QA, and the product team. And basically, Scrum Master is not a manager. He doesn't manage the team. He coaches the team. He provides us. He acts as a servant leadership to the developers, the product team, and the tester. So don't think the Scrum Master is a manager. He manages the team. No, he coaches the team. He facilitates. He removes the roadblocks in getting the things delivered. Okay, and these are basic things you need to understand from Scrum Master thing. And I wanted to tell you that I have 16 plus of years of experience in this IT, out of which 7 years is into this Scrum Master role. Okay, and currently I'm working. Scrum Master is not a tedious thing and it's not a simple job as well. It's a normal job where you will find a lot of scope in building a rapport with the developers, with the testing team, with the product team, so and with so many of stakeholders as well. So you will learn new things as well in terms of development part and everything. So it's a good choice that you guys are coming for the Scrum Master, are looking for the Scrum Master opportunities. But just to go through the in deeper, we have more to learn here. I'll share once everything gets sorted. And the career part, if you can see here, see, again, this all the package and everything, it all keeps on changing based on the experience, the real deal scenarios, or the type of interview, the feedback, whatever you're getting. So this all keeps on changing. Okay. At present, we have at least a 12 to 15 lakhs of per annum in this as a Scrum Master. But again, based on the interview, based on the real time, it keeps on changes plus or minus. And we do have the certifications as well from scrum.org, professional Scrum Master one. And we have one more thing called, I think I just missed that point here. Okay, this is again a safe Scrum Master, the project management. Normally we follow, yeah, PSM, the Scrum.org. Yeah, but the other thing is the aliens, scumaliens.org, where we provide, where we get the certified Scrum Master. So these are the two main sites where we can afford for and certification part as well. So that is on the Scrum Master certifications. Um Again, these are some examination pre tips here. Okay, Scrum Aliens is one of the website where I encourage the team to look into that, where we get the certified Scrum Master as well as the advanced Scrum Master. So it would be normally 2 years. The certification will be valid. So we can go for this Scrum from the Scrum Aliens. I prefer Scrum Aliens. But if you have any other choice, you can go for the other options as well. Okay. This is all about the Scrum Master roles and responsibilities, the Agile, the Scrum, the Zira. If you have any other questions, let me know, team. And team, just let me know. Are you able to understand whatever I have explained you about the Agile, the Scrum, the Zira, the about the team? Okay. Is it? I just need an acknowledgement from all the team members. All right, then. Are we good to close this session, team? Or any other questions? I'll just keep this forum for 2 more minutes. Okay. If you have any doubt, just post your questions in this group chat. All right, then, team. It was nice talking to you all. Thanks, everyone, and have a good rest of the day. Thank you.